Hey everyone. So we're at a new project here in Saranac Lake. We're doing a garage conversion. So first let me show you up front here what's going to happen. So the customer here has 3 bay doors. We're going to be pulling those bay doors out and putting in double hung windows in each location. We're going to match the live edge siding and bring it right down, match all the trim. And then on the inside, we'll have a look what's going on here. So this space here will remain like a tool room. We're going to set them up so they can have a wall where this tarp is right now, and we're going to put plywood on it so that they can drill right to it, hang whatever he wants, wherever he wants. And then in this space, we're going to do a typical Adirondack tongue and groove. We've got edge and center going on the ceiling and V-groove on the walls. And we're doing a hardwood engineered floor on here. So we'll have to do some leveling and then put the flooring in. It's going to be a pretty straightforward project, but it will be here for a while, and we're looking forward to getting it started. Nick, why don't you run around the room and video it? So as you can see, we already started pulling the ceiling down. We did this for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted to lower the weight that we're putting on this system. What we've noticed that the way that this house was structured with this large span, we didn't want to add too much weight. We've already got some significant cracking in the walls, and we didn't want to agitate that problem any further. Plus, it allows us full access for all the electrical. We're adding new lights. We're taking out all the garage doors and their openers, and we're going to eliminate the sockets, eliminate them back to their source, so we don't have any random wires in the walls or ceilings. And then that should really be it. And we may or may not do a in-process video. Why don't you make a comment below and we'll have a look. All right, till next time, see ya. So I'm here at Branch Farm Road, and we did a fairly extensive project here. What we're going to do today is show you the end result of that. Now, the project originally started out with just a remodel of a 3-car garage into living space and to a tool room essentially. So as most projects do, they grow. And what we've done is added on several other items to the original project and worked on it through the majority of the late spring and most of summer. And today I'm here just to touch up a couple of small items that had to be left until the very end due to various issues like with COVID and all that. So we're here today, and let me show you around. So right here, the deck had several boards that were rotten in it, and the fascia board that you're looking at, it was rotted as well. And so we replaced those, and the handrails that you see, and the posts in the corners and all that, pretty much all that material there, all the twig work and the log work, and then was able to meld it right into the original post here, which also took a fair bit of repair. We're going to be doing hopefully another project here, extending the front of this house and putting on a 2nd story deck as well. Now that diamond shaped window there, it was fogged out between the panes, and we replaced that. It was a special order item. I was able to get it through Anderson, which worked out really well. The front door here, we installed a Reeb thermal true door with the side lights. You see it there. And it's one of the things I was here to do today, was to grout in the transition from the base of the door into the tile. And then we work our way around, and you can see this is the wall that we did the 3-car conversion on. So we added in the 3 windows and replaced the siding where needed, obviously. And we put on little standoff blocks for all the lights, It didn't have that before. They just wrapped it with siding in the past. I like the standoff look and the adding the color to the standoffs to match all the rest of the siding. Again, we use Anderson windows, and they were able to match them pretty well to the original. The original isn't a manufacturer that's really represented around here anymore. And then we added another Reeb Therma-Tru door here. And let's go have a look inside. Okay. So as you can see, the walls are now a different color. So this wall here was original, that back wall was original, this wall we added. Due to the needing to add it, we also had to upgrade all the electrical. So we have outlets every 6 feet per the code. Here, we added a fire rated door here. The customer requested that. Even though this is no longer garage space, we didn't have to do that, but the customer felt more comfortable with that, so that's what we did. And the trim in here is a little bit different than the rest of the room that we're going to look at. He wanted the space to be a different space. So we made a few minor changes to the trim work to make it match and then not match at the same time. The floor here is a 2-part epoxy. And we went with stone coat epoxy on that. And yep, rock and all that. There was a lot of damage in this wall, seeing how it was a garage space. A lot of holes punched in with people trying to hang things and didn't work, blah, blah. This wall here has a full 3/4 plywood behind the sheetrock so that he can hang anything he wants, anywhere he wants, and it'd be good to go there. Now this space here turned out beautifully, I feel. The beam that runs across the top here, this was a huge challenge. This beam has everything going on with it, with a bow in the center. It curls to one side, it curls from top to bottom. So to get this thing true and straight, it took a lot of work with the lasers, but we got it and nailed it. One of the things I'm really particular about is my trim work. I'm not a huge fan of trim work, not because I don't like doing it, it's just I don't like seeing it. So I try to minimize the amount of trim that's required in a space. And one of the things I did here is you can see the detail that we put in. We kept the 45-degree tongue and groove detail and wrapped this space with it, landing this board into this board here by routering out the back side of it and putting that groove that we require to put the tongue in from here. And we did that all the way across. And the other thing I'm really particular about is making sure that the grooves all match. So when you transition from one wall to another wall, into another wall, they always match. I'm very, very particular about this detail. Now on this outside corner, we went with this fairly good sized trim piece here on the outside corner because you didn't want to ever see that miter coming apart on the outside, and that just always seems to happen. We have such a drastic change in humidity and temperature up here that keeping those miters super tight for a long period of time just doesn't happen. So what I managed to do was to take the bead detail that we have here and add it into the corner bead here, and then wrap it all the way around and have it on the other side as well. Now this bead detail also floats up into all the headers. You can see here, bead there. And then the transition from this new game room into the kitchen, I wanted to make sure I carried that bead detail from the baseboard here, and it matches up
into the face piece here. I didn't want to have another piece of baseboard here because that will always be the point where someone steps on and will break the ends off. So by protecting it and then putting the 45 detail that's cohesive throughout the room, and then using that to butt the flooring that we have here into here, that really, you know, streamlined it and cleaned it all up really well. We had to cut the tile back that was here because the original space had this tile floating all the way into here, and then it just terminated into the garage space and no one ever finished it out. So we did the right thing and put a threshold in that split between the two spaces directly underneath the door, and that you don't ever see the other floor from the other room. Just a little details that really make the space worth doing all this extra work. Yeah, so then these two windows here were existing, and then the other two windows are the ones that we added. We ended up replacing the two existing windows to match the other two windows so that the hardware and the grain of the wood was really identical. You could see quite a bit of difference in the, I wouldn't say quite a bit of difference, you could see a difference, let's just say that, between the two sets of windows. So the customer really wanted it cohesive and wanted to match, so we did that, and it turned out really nice. And then we added this little dartboard section here. The customer had it originally. What we did was we shortened it up. It went to the floor, and so we added another piece here and shortened it up, so it made it more of a purpose-built feature to the room instead of, it looked more like an afterthought before. And then we trimmed out the windows and the baseboard and the crown all to match the rest of the house inside. Yeah, and then, you know, a whitewash, same tongue and groove, but this has the bead center on the ceiling. Then we added all the lights and made sure that those centered, not only centered with themselves, centering into the boards of the tongue and groove and landing them center of the window. And then this is a engineered hardwood by Somerset. I have a few issues with the install on this based on what the representative had told me, but our end result ended up turning out beautiful and the customer's happy with it, so that's the main goal. Outside of that, I'd say this room is pretty well complete. We did add the solid pine door, and then the hardware that we added, we went ahead and added this hardware throughout the entire house. The original hardware set that was in here was that bright bronze color, and it was the rather inexpensive ones that just, you know, don't feel like a substantial handle in your hand. And these are beautiful. They're really solid, really heavy, and turned out great. I mean, all the hinges all match as well. And then that will do it for this space. Now next we'll go out to the boathouse and have a look around out there. Oops. Oh yeah, one other thing we did while we were here is there used to be a stump, good sized stump right about there. I brought my little backhoe in and dug that out, and while I had the backhoe here, the customer had come in with their car. I heard them bottom out their car coming in because the driveway was so poorly maintained and it was really well rooted. So I went ahead and graded the driveway back to flat again, and yeah, I think that's about it for that. Well, the customer had some firewood delivered, so we made some frameworks for that. Nothing major, just a little bit. All right. Let's go have a look at that boathouse. So out here, we didn't do a tremendous amount of work, but there was a fair bit of siding that was damaged due to lack of snow removal, and it's, you know, it's a boathouse, it's on water. So you've always got to be concerned about how you mount your siding and all your details when you're surrounded by water, because it's going to deteriorate. There's not much you can do about that. So it just becomes a maintenance item. We have a few things that we try to implement to try to help things last longer, but Mother Nature, she does have a job, and one of them is to take apart what we build. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is. All right, so boathouse here. The dock that was here, it was in really rough shape. Let's just put it that way. And so we went ahead, ripped it completely down, reframed it, and this is what we have for end result. The siding on the side here was all rotted out, about 3 courses up. So we went ahead and replaced about 5 courses. And then created this upper little deck and the stairs for it. Before, they just had like a loose box sitting there, and there's a concrete slab under here. You can see right there. They kind of like jump over onto, and then you get onto the little box and then onto the lower dock. And yeah, so we went ahead and matched this design to match the house design. And just the stain out here we used is called Ready Seal. It holds up really well, and yeah, and you can see for yourself the color it has, at least this particular color. We also had to rebuild the corners on here, which we had to do on the house as well. This detail that they have here, it's going to be a high maintenance item. So you can have snow and rain kind of build up in here and make its way down in there, and then into the birch paper. There's holes that, you know, the critters have burrowed through. So it's a bit of a maintenance item for this particular property. Yeah, so the flagstone there, those were settled pretty hard, so we went ahead and raised a few of those up. And then the siding on the far side over there, we also had to rebuild. Luckily, the water is not terribly deep. I was able to just wade out there in a wetsuit. And then this fire pit, I didn't build the spark arrestor here, but I did do the ring and the base here. Yeah, it was a fun little welding project. I don't get to weld nearly as much as I'd like to, but whenever I get a chance, I certainly try to jump on it. And yeah, I created an air gap between the original flange here and the one that I created. That way air can flow, can always make its way in and get up underneath the fire, which is where you really want it, in case if it doesn't get cleaned enough, or if it just smokes out, or whichever, it'll have a good opportunity to get fresh air to burn. And then I use a high temp, it's a 500-degree paint. We'll see how that holds up. But, yeah. So we're applying for a project here with the Adirondack Park Service to see if we can do some more work out here on the boathouse and on the main house. And potentially next year we'll be back here quite a bit. So we're hoping. We'll see how the application goes. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of different things that we're capable of doing and more than willing to do. So if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, be helpful. Don't really know where YouTube's taking me, but we're gonna keep making videos and having fun with it. So I guess I'll talk to you guys some other time. Take care. Bye.